Today, on Be Something Wonderful, total and complete quantum leap to a new identity and new reality. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I have a massive video today of a subscriber who wrote me that can only be described as a massive quantum leap to a new identity and new reality. And I want to talk about what she described and how she did it. And really it's centered in that I amness. But more than that, it was almost that she invoked the law of reciprocity. And remember, she's saying, basically what she was saying, and what I'm going to describe here, is that if a life of having always been fulfilled, loved, and chosen can create the assumption that I've always been loved, fulfilled, and chosen, then the assumption from that I am awareness that I've always been fulfilled, loved, and chosen can create that life, past, present, and future. In other words, it can create a quantum leap into that new identity. Do you hear it? That's the law of reciprocity. And it's interesting because we did a video yesterday on another client that said that's her affirmation, that's her go-to, that I've always been loved, that I've always had everything that I want, that I've always been prioritized, that I've always been chosen, etc. And this was another client who was using it also from being centered in that I amness, right? Knows the laws, has been imagining and creating and affirming and scripting now for some time, but made a quantum leap when she went to this conclusion, right? Remember, there's only the great I am. There's only the great unity of God. There's only that one Lord or law, that one source and that one substance. If there's only one source, one substance, there must be complete unity with that source. And wherever that source or substance or God is at all, the all of God or all of that source must be. Therefore, if you have a desire, whatever that desire is, the absolute and complete fulfillment must be right there with it. One cannot exist without the other. That's the law of reciprocity. If I desire it, there's a reality or version of me already living it. This is really the conclusion that she got to. If I desire it, there's a reality or a version of me already living it. Otherwise, I couldn't desire it. I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't think of it, right? If a life of having always been fulfilled, always been loved, or always been chosen can create an assumption. The assumption that, hey, I've always been loved. I've always been fulfilled because that's been my experience. That's been my life. I've always been chosen. Then the assumption, by jumping to that assumption, by quantum leaping to that assumption, from that I am awareness that I've always been fulfilled, that I've always been loved and always been chosen, can create that life, can create the quantum leap where you move to that reality, not just in the present, not just in the future, but in the past. It changes all the time. Let's hit it like we never have before. Remember, and we've talked about this, there's only unity. And so if you have a desire, it's fulfilled. You couldn't desire what is not already yours, or desire to be someone, an identity or version that you're not already. You couldn't do it, right? Remember, your desires are spillovers or bleed-throughs from a version of you, a parallel identity or reality already living and experiencing that desired reality and identity. We're going to show that today in pictures so you really get this, right? Desires, and so your desires can provide that anomalous burst of energy, that quantum leap to a new reality. Do you see this? That's the good news. Sometimes we have desires and we don't feel good because we feel separate from them. We feel like we need something to complete us, or we don't have something, so we desire it. But really, the desire is already fulfilled. So that desire then becomes the catalyst, or that anomalous burst of energy to move you to that desired reality, right? You are feeling that unseen, in other words, that if you desire it, there's a version of you living it. You're experiencing the spillover or the bleed through from that other reality, or otherwise you wouldn't be able to desire it. You wouldn't have the desire. You wouldn't be able to think of it. You wouldn't even be able to imagine it unless you're living it, unless it's a version of you living that desire. You're feeling that's what desire is. It's that feeling that you're living that unseen parallel reality and version of you as a desire from the viewpoint of your current occupied identity. That's what a desire is. You're feeling that unseen parallel reality or unseen identity of you. You're feeling it as a desire from the viewpoint of your current occupied identity in this time and space. Right? You're feeling that other alternative reality as a desire, right? Because it's a spillover or bleed through. That's powerful. So let's take a look. There you are. That's I am. This is you. You're all versions of you. There's in the middle, that's you. The black stick figure is you. That's the me. And it's the you. It's the me and the larger you. The me and you. Remember that? I went through this thing before, right? There you are. And you are all versions of yourself. One superimposed over another. And you have this unique focus in this time and space, in this 3D experience, right? The 3D linear manifested you. The self-conscious personality within the infinite multidimensional personality of that I am awareness. Right? The smaller, more focused, self-conscious personality within the larger, infinite, unlimited personality of I am. Right? And what does that mean then? That means your desires, those realities all exist within you, and you can move to any one of them. And when you feel them as a desire, when you're desiring, that's the bleed through, that's the spillover from that version of you. There it is. That's already living it. I am that I am. You're living, there's a version of you already living it. Your desires are the translated 3D linear expression of the multidimensional you. Wow. I'm not sure we looked at it that way before. We probably have, right? Your desires are the translated 3D linear your desires are the translated 3D linear expressions of the multidimensional infinite you. And there it is. That's why you desire it. That's why you imagine it. That's why you can even think of it, because it's already there. You're already living it. Wow. And what did she do? She moved to it in a quantum leap and a quantum jump, knowing that if a lifetime of certain experiences can create assumptions, and those assumptions can create a lifetime. Wow. Can create a new life, a new identity. This is power, guys. Power, power, power. You couldn't desire, you couldn't imagine, you couldn't assume or want it, or even be aware of it. It wouldn't even be in your awareness if you weren't already it, because you are awareness. Do you hear it? You couldn't even be aware of it unless it was already fulfilled. Desire doesn't exist without fulfillment. There's only unity, there's only fulfillment. That's why Neville Goddard says really, eternally, you're always that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe it is the only reason you do not see it. So to desire a state is to have it. That's what Neville meant. That reality, that identity, that version of you is that state. Wow, that's powerful. So let's hit it. Remember, you are a multidimensional, infinite, divine personality. I am awareness. And you're living, moving, and being and existing in an infinite number of lives, past, present, and future, all happening right now. And you feel those lives through desires, through desiring to want to live a certain way, or be a certain way, or have something. All of that's existing right now. Remember, in Him, we live, we move, and have our being. We exist. Right? And you're in Him, in that higher multidimensional personality that also lit as the Son of God, that's also one with all other infinite multidimensional personalities, that all rolls up into the isness and the absoluteness of the one great I am. Right? You are, remember, and you are corresponding, you're resonating and vibrating with and having a specific experience of reality through one of these infinite identities. With this 3D experience now as one of those specific identities, right? So those identities are dreaming you, and you are dreaming them, right? It's the same. You are corresponding, you're resonating, you're vibrating with and having a specific 3D experience of reality through one of these infinite identities that includes and is one with all identities. One superimposed over the other with a certain focus in this 3D linear horizontal experience. One superimposed over the other. There it is. Do you see it? There you are. You are multidimensional, right? You are corresponding. You're resonating and vibrating with and having a specific experience of reality through one of these infinite identities. And that's why you feel desires from those other identities that are living those desires, right? And you are one, though, with all those identities. That's why you can feel it. That's why you can sense it. That's why you can imagine it. That's why you can think of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to. One superimposes the other to give you a certain focus or specific focus in this 3D linear time and space. That's powerful. So it's not a question of this whole idea of real versus unreal comes up from time to time. It's not a question whether it's real or unreal, or true or false, or reality versus an illusion, or lucid versus being lucid or being delusional. It's all a real experience of ultimate reality. It's not a question. Everything's real. Everything's truth. Everything's reality. Everything's lucid, right? You are reality. You are that truth. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's unreal or false or an illusion or delusional. It simply means that it's unseen. That's beautiful. It simply means that it's unseen, that appearances are not what they seem. It's unseen. Appearances are not what they seem. Judge not according to appearance, right? That's the true meaning of illusion. The only question is, if there is a question at all or a distinction, what is real and then what's a manifested experience, right? But even then there's no division there because the manifested is the reality. There's only reality. But you're saying, well, everything's real. And whether it's manifested or not is the question. Whether it's seen or not is the question. But it's all there. It's all reality. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, that it's not reality. That's power. It's all reality. So this subscriber in this email, I want to talk about it because she really got this clearly. She goes, I can't tell you how much your teaching has resonated with me and has elevated me, a rise in consciousness, a rise in understanding, a rise in knowing, beyond techniques and thought flipping. Beyond techniques and thought flipping, a tongue twister, thought flipping. It moved her to a full and total understanding and acknowledgement of who I am. That's what she says. She goes, I am that I am. She goes, I feel enveloped with love. It is radiating out of every pore, right? I feel happy, secure, in control, and powerful, and nothing in 3D affects me the way I did. That's a new state of being. That's a new identity. That's a new reality. Absolute new assumption of who she is. Right? She goes, I was a chronic overthinker. I sought constant validation from others. I left feeling more empty. That left me feeling more empty, right? Looking for validation, overthinking. She goes, my insecurity was crippling. Now, she says, I seek no validation from anyone. I just go within and know that I am. Very powerful. So let's unpack this. She goes, I've always had. She used that powerful affirmation, that powerful technique. She knew the law of reciprocity. If you can declare that I've always been loved, I've always been cherished, I've always had everything I want, I've always had manifested everything, I know that everything's always been mine, then you can create that reality. If a lifetime of having everything you want can create assumptions around that, then you can create that lifetime. Past, present, and future. It revises and changes all time. Here's what she says. I revise the past, so I know. Hear the wording. I revise the past so I know, so I have the knowing, right? I have always been loved, always chosen, always been prioritized, always been adored. Now she says, as she did that, she quantum leaps to that reality, the law of reciprocity, right? That her desire for that provided that anomalous burst of energy, because that's what desire is. It's source energy. It's all source, right? And it's a spillover, right? It's a spillover from another reality. It's part of you. It's a bleed through. So that desire can provide that anomalous burst of energy to move. I have no anger, no resentment. It is the most liberating state I have ever known. Listen to this, guys. I would have never thought that it was possible to experience. And the most amazing thing is, here's what she says. I love this statement. The most amazing thing is, I know it's coming from within and it can never be taken away. Wow. That's really the key. Here I am. The manifested things you believe you can lose or can be taken away or can fade away, but not this. It can never be taken. That's the true kingdom, right? That can never perish. That's the kingdom of God. That's heaven, right? Now she has old boyfriends popping out of nowhere, she says, after years and months or months and years of no contact. And she said, all of them have said how much they miss me and care for me and want to see me. Wow. Old boyfriends popping out of nowhere after months and years of no contact, saying that how much they miss her, how much they care for her, how much they want to see her. That's a clear new identity. She goes, although I'm manifesting my SP back, and she had some interaction with her SP, a new man popped up in the most unexpected place who is also quite similar to my SP, but a better version. That doesn't mean she's not manifesting her SP anymore. She's just stating this is what happened, right? And he's reflecting back all my thoughts about myself, all these new thoughts, this new identity, right? She says it's so bizarre. He's treating me how I envisioned my SP is going to treat me or will treat me or is treating me, right? So, and then she had another big movement where she's starting a business, doing what she now loves, where before in the old identity, the old reality, she always wanted to do it, but always had been too scared of failure. But not in this new reality, not in this new version, right? I've always been fearless. I've always been able to start new businesses. I've always been able to do what I want to do, right? She says, someone literally turned out of the blue and suggested a practical idea and is supporting me to set it up. She goes, it's just unbelievable. It's so bizarre. It's a new reality, a new identity. That's a total and complete quantum leap to a new identity and new reality. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the ambassadors, the Be Something Wonderful ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. Also for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and our membership channel, which is growing. There's a link below. If you're a member, thank you for joining. If you haven't checked it out, there was a video, I think now about 4 or 5 days ago that was released. That's big. We also did a live stream a few weeks ago. We have another live stream that will be aired exclusively on the membership channel in September. I'll be announcing that soon. The date, it's going to be on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m., just like the other live streams right here live in Las Vegas, in this studio in Las Vegas. I'll be answering your questions that you're going to send to me, hopefully, and I'm now receiving them. Send your questions to info@besomethingwonderful.com. I'm now starting to receive more and more. Creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom in the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. We'll see you soon.